What's up, everyone? We had a fantastic day in the market today, and we are set to end the week on an awesome note. There were some awesome moves across a bunch of different stocks today. We can see Tesla is blasting in after hours. Carvana had a hell of a day, and we have some awesome setups to end the week. So you better stick with us to the end of today's video. We have some awesome stuff to cover. But Tom, I gotta tell you straight out, there's one thing that we really missed out on this week, and, forget all the stock stuff, but some of these tickets for these Inter Miami games are rising quicker than any other stock in the market. Some news came out where basically Lionel Messi is actually moving to Inter Miami, and the tickets for the first game basically went from $29 all the way up to $329 each. That's over 1,000% jump. I mean, Tom, these are bigger jumps than some options we see on a day-to-day basis.
Man, it really is. And I know Messi is one of the biggest soccer players out there, or football, as a lot of people like to call it in Europe. But yeah, he's huge. We have these big soccer players out there, and they make a lot of money, Mike. Like, I don't know how much money Messi's going to make now, but I know in the past he's had some of the largest contracts at the time in sports history, or at least at the active moment there. So that's huge. Man, these tickets for these games are really going crazy. Messi's played for a few teams. He's played for the country Argentina in the World Cup. Looks like he came from Paris Saint-Germain. I think he even used to play for Barcelona. So he's been playing all over the place, Mike. He's one of the biggest players in the world. I'll tell you what, I bet there's going to be a lot of bets coming in on Messi on Inter Miami. Now, I know people bet on him still when he played in the European leagues and stuff like that. But man, you would think that there's going to be some bets coming in on there for Miami. That's pretty big news to have arguably the biggest soccer player in the world coming to the U.S. league there, MLS.
You know it. All right, Tom, back to some stock stuff. One stock that is just booming in after hours is General Motors, and I'll tell you this, I was not expecting this news today. So it's blasting in after hours with Tesla stock, as well as news came out that General Motors will now be using the Tesla charging network, joining Ford and leveraging the EV leaders tech. So that's huge. Just the other week we saw Ford come out with basically the same news, and it goes to show you that the infrastructure that Tesla has built over the years is really starting to pay off, and it really gets the question going in a lot of people's heads, saying, yeah, this just has to do with physical infrastructure, but not only can we see Tesla, you could say, like, lease out or let other companies use their charging, but also like their AI software and other pieces of technology even further down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that would be huge. Imagine that they end up partnering with Ford or GM and they start offering full self-driving. That the FSD, that's huge for Tesla, especially in the future whenever it gets even better. I think that's going to be even cooler for them. And I know General Motors has been in the news a lot the past few years. They have that electric Hummer. The electric Silverados are coming out, stuff like that. And their stock has actually been doing pretty good on the daily, Mike. I know we actually saw a call debit spread on this one a little while ago, which was interesting. It's actually going to be expiring next week. And looking at the stock, it's been bouncing off this lower support around $32. We're heading back up to the top of the range. And with this good news, I would think that there's a pretty high possibility that we could at least retest maybe $40, even if not $42, in my opinion, over the next couple of weeks, because this range has been pretty stout over the past year or so. It's been really bouncing between there. So I would expect it to stay on track for this as of now. And hey, that's awesome. And I know GM's also been doing some cool stuff lately. The Camaro's actually in the Le Mans race. For anybody who keeps up with that type of stuff, they've been doing a lot of cool stuff over the past year or so.
I'll take it. And Tom, we were talking about GM just a couple weeks ago when the stock was closer to like $32.50. We talked about it quite a bit, about how it was bouncing in an awesome way off that $32 support. Now it's all the way up to $37. So congrats to everyone who banked off of that play. And for our people who have been watching, our videos consistently, especially this week, you guys know the stock that I mentioned the most this week was easily Ford. I think I talked about it in literally every single video for I don't know, maybe like a week or a week and a half now, and it's just been doing nothing but basically going straight up. And even Ford's moving to the upside off of this news, just like GM and Tesla. So keep a very close eye on Ford and GM, and even Tesla tomorrow. I know Ford and GM don't necessarily have the same level of hype that Tesla does, but hey, keep a close eye on them because they do have some pretty good moves.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, Tesla's having a huge move here in after hours as well. I mean, this is just awesome to see them continuing to innovate and do things with these other companies. They are really rocketing up, Mike. I mean, they're getting close to $250. So for any of the Tesla players out there, watch that maybe as a big resistance for tomorrow. But Mike, I actually saw some interesting news today also with Dollar Tree, which really caught my eye. It looks like Dollar Tree might actually lock up products to deter theft. Apparently, they're having some theft issues where people are stealing a lot of products. Obviously, they call this shrink. We've talked a lot about shrink before with Target and a couple other companies like Walmart, but man, it sounds terrible. If Dollar Tree has to start locking stuff up, I mean, like, what's the world came to? People are stealing stuff that costs $1 now. I mean, man, Mike, I'd feel bad even arresting someone who had to steal from there.
Seriously. So I know this news came out a couple weeks ago, but I just saw it today. But just like you were saying, I would have never thought to see Dollar Tree out of all places to consider locking up products to deter theft. Like I can see if it was Target or like Best Buy or something like that, but hey, it's interesting news. And it's like when you look at Dollar Tree stock, it has actually been holding up in a pretty decent way over the past couple of years, especially considered like some of these big tech stocks and, especially growth stocks. But hey, it's fallen down a little bit. What would you say by looking at Dollar Tree stock right now? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks actually pretty rough to me in the short term. We started actually having that big drop here with earnings, and I actually would have thought that Dollar Tree would be doing a little bit better right now, with the economic, with the way the economy's been lately and the way people are trying to save money and etc. I would have thought that maybe Dollar Tree and also Dollar General would have been up, but they're actually kind of falling down here. Like, look at poor Dollar General in the short term. They're really falling over. Now, Dollar Tree's been holding up a little bit better, but still they're reaching the lower end of this range. There is a big support coming up right around 125. We just fell through one at 135, and then overhead 148 to 150 is a pretty big resistance. So I will be watching this one, Mike. It could end up bouncing here, but honestly, I kind of feel like it's probably going to fall down and fill that gap over the next couple months. And I feel like that with a lot of these stocks that have been holding up well lately.
That gap is pretty far down there, Tom. That'd be a nasty drop.
Would it? I mean, honestly, that doesn't seem that bad to me, down to like 120. I mean, let's see. We just had let's see, percentage-wise, down to here and a 20% drop. If we got down to there, it'd be like another 11, 12%. That would be rough, but I think it's definitely doable, especially if they break out of this range. Like, this range has really been holding. So maybe that lower support will hold up and we'll end up bouncing back like we saw with GM and a bunch of other stocks. But what I like with GM is that they had a pullback and then they consolidated down here for a while, where it seems like Dollar Tree is like just now getting to the bottom of that range.
Yeah, I feel ya. So I guess it'll all depend on the price action and, of course, news. So hopefully people start stealing less from Dollar Tree,
Yeah.
but we'll see what happens. So interesting stuff there. And Tom, how can we not talk about Carvana today? This thing, I don't know if Jim Cramer said he was bearish on it or what, but this thing blasted. Seriously. So the stock is surging. First thing we can say is that there was a lot of short interest in the stock. It was heavily shorted. It's up like 56% today. And they also had some pretty good like economic outlooks. Basically what they said is that they expect a positive adjusted EBITDA of more than $50 million for the second quarter of 2023, which is awesome. And they also expect a gross profit per unit to be above $6,000 for the second quarter. So both good things, and the stock is blasting. The intraday price action on this thing was insane.
Yeah, it really was. And I'll tell you what, Mike, our bot called it out perfectly today as well. As the day went on, 9:22 a.m. was the call out. This thing was called out at $110 a contract, ran up to $615 a contract, Mike. $615 from 110. That is one of the biggest SniperBot plays since the SniperBot's inception. Looking fantastic, Mike. You got to love it when the bot pops off like that. And look at the intraday price action on Carvana. That was huge, like you said. And man, to see it get all the way up to 25 from where it closed yesterday, I am mind blown right now.
Let's go. So if you guys are into short-term trading, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. $110 all the way up to $615. Of course, not every single bot play wins. No software, no strategy, no person, nothing can win 100% of the time. But, a lot of times when you see an 8 out of 8 rated setup and the stock's moving in a good way, it is awesome to see, moves from $110 all the way up to $615. So if you want in on the action, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. And while we're at it, Tom, we might as well give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Kathy, in the StockedUp Discord, who made 130% with this play. So huge shout out to you, Kathy. Keep it up. But Tom, it is now time to talk about some setups for tomorrow. One stock I'm watching very closely is Affirm, AFRM. This stock actually had some awesome news yesterday where their pay over time service will actually now be on Amazon. That's awesome news. The stock is up around 16% today, and I do like this stock not only for tomorrow, but over the next couple trading days. The news is awesome, and the stock is pretty oversold as well, and there's some pretty good volume flowing in too.
Yeah, and I'll say it, that's going to be big for them on Amazon, Mike. I mean, to get on a marketplace like that is amazing. I was surprised that they pulled back as much as they did yesterday with that news coming out. I was sitting there like, man, there's no way this stock is continuing to go down here. I'm glad it came back today and made up for it, up 16%. It's definitely on the rise, up around that resistance. And that is some of the best news that I think you can get. And mentioning Amazon, that's actually one of my plays for tomorrow. And I actually have this one both ways. So to the downside here, there's a big support right around 123.50. We end up having some nice 1 minute candles close under there. I'll go ahead and look for a nice play to the downside, scalping some puts. I think that Amazon could pull back. Now, if the overall market starts ripping again and we see SPY breaking out, if Amazon's able to get above 124.50, which was a nice little intraday support here from today, then go ahead and look at them to the upside. So I do like this one both ways, Mike. I think there's opportunity on it, and I think that it'll end up overall moving with those other big tech stocks.
Perfect. Another stock I'm watching is Meta, and this stock bounced off this 260 support today in a major way. If we see a retest of this level tomorrow and a break below it, I am going to be pretty bearish on this stock. This $260 level is absolutely crucial. So I'm going to be hawking this one. If it breaks below that, I'll be looking at it for some puts.
Yeah, that is a huge level, Mike. I mean, that's a perfect double bottom almost. And today at market open, just like market open on a Wednesday, May 31st, it had a huge drop down just below that area. And then it actually ripped right back through. So I'm definitely going to be watching it too. That's going to be a big spot. Man, I love Meta. It has so much good moves, and the options always end up playing well on it. And how could I not go without talking about Tessie? Now, I will say, before I actually called Tesla out, they were actually still down here around like 236, 235. Now they're all the way up to 246, 250. We're going to have to be very careful with this one. But hey, it has a lot of momentum. So if you're able to feel out the momentum and maybe look at some other stocks like Ford and GM maybe off of this, I think that these stocks are going to be pretty good to play tomorrow. We have a lot of good news going on between all three of these, and they're going to end up making for some good opportunities with that momentum. So keep your eyes on them. And GM and Ford have pretty good priced options as well. Like I know some of those Ford contracts are super cheap.
Awesome. All right. Well, it is now time for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have Beyond Meat, ticker symbol BYND.
Yeah, BYND looking good here. Great day today. Little pullback end of day, which I actually like heading into tomorrow. Go ahead and make them break back above $13 even. That's a pretty good area.
All right. With the next one, we have Boeing, also to the upside.
Yeah, BA, I actually like this one quite a bit here. They're really recovering off that bad news earlier in the week. Go ahead and make them break out above 220 right at the high of day today.
All right, with the next one, we have Google, and we need both directions.
Yeah, GOOGL, very volatile here the past couple days. Well, I should say yesterday. Today, they just kind of consolidated. But if they break under 121.50, go ahead and watch for puts to the downside. Now, I do like this intraday resistance here. There was even a wick in after hours right at 122.50. So if they can break above that, then watch for some call.
All right, well, you guys heard Tom. We have the upside level on Google. If it breaks above that, we're watching it for calls. And we have the downside level as well. If it breaks below that, we are watching it for puts. And then don't forget about Beyond Meat and Boeing, both of which have upside levels. And if they break above those, we'll watch them for calls. But it is now time for a mega big money play of the day. Tom, we're talking about a $24.6 million trade today. This is one of the biggest trades we ever talked about. So it's pretty crazy. And we are looking at none other than GLNG. So this is like a liquefied natural gas company. And essentially someone dumped $24.6 million into the 10 strike call options that expire on January 19th of 2024. For those of you who don't understand how options work, essentially this is a very bullish trade where the higher the stock goes, the more, I would normally say millions, but in this case, tens of millions of dollars this trader will make. I like this setup quite a bit. These call options are in the money. That's why the strike price is 10 and the current stock price is like 22. It's like a safer way to play it. So yeah, I like the setup, and someone's clearly betting that this stock has a lot of room to the upside over the next couple months.
Yeah, that's huge. 10 strike calls. That is so far into the money. I'm kind of blown away by it, actually. And looking at the price of it right now, they're going for like $1,200 a contract. I know a lot of people probably won't want to be looking at that too much. I'm going out here, Mike, and going out on a limb. And if we maybe hope that this $20 support holds up here, maybe you could go for the $20 strike. That's going for like the bid end of day was right at 360. The ask was at 390. The last traded price was 390 on it. So $390 a contract at the 20 strike. Not too bad there. So I like the play, Mike. GLNG 10 strike calls. Looks like it's starting to really break this little wedge it's been in. And it's even bounced off this purple trend line perfectly now a few times, and we're now getting this good price action up through there. So hopefully it holds up, and it's one of the better setups that I've seen in a long time for a big money play.
There we go. All right, Tom. Well, I am pretty excited for tomorrow, especially because of the, I guess you could say, price action that we saw today, especially out of Carvana, Tesla, General Motors, stuff like that. So that is awesome. But we can't end the video without talking about some earnings for tomorrow. What's on the schedule?
It's actually looking pretty good. NEO before market open, nothing too crazy, obviously, besides the NEO, but hey, we'll take it. NEO is going to be a big move for a China stock. I'm sure it might even influence some of the other EVs. So keep your eyes on NEO. They usually have pretty big moves, and I can't wait to see what they end up reporting. I know China's had a lot of news with EVs and stuff like that over the past couple weeks, so I'm hoping to see a good recovery. NEO's very, very low right now.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And if you are new here and you liked it, make sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see our videos recommended to you more often. And if you're into day trading, options especially, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Today's play went, honestly, I can't even really describe it. I'll just say insane. $110 all the way up to $615. Again, it's that first link in the description and the comments down below. But besides that, let's have an amazing end to the week.